Hello and welcome to episode number 20 of the LFC Stuff podcast with me, David, and the usual rabble are back together. We've got Shane and Josh, none of that American nonsense. We're back to good old Irish and Imperialist. How are you doing, guys?
I'll let Shane go first because he hasn't been in the country, or his country, for so long.
Whose country, huh?
Say it.
Good start.
Yeah,
good.
Your country.
You're always just on the verge, aren't you?
You're not going to be in my country, are you?
Yeah, I was in Asia, which is a Wikipedia tells me is the largest continent on Earth, and it has the people to back it up. Yeah, it's a busy place, but it's good to be back in cold Ireland.
Ugh. Josh, how's things over in Nottinghamshire?
It's very well. We've had a nice week of crap weather, and now it's really sunny. So,
Well,
viva la autumn.
we can move on swiftly from, well, Majesty and Asia and other such foreign things, and we can move on to Sheffield United,
Ugh.
Oh,
who are the embodiment of foreign style and different cultures and whatnot. What on earth was that?
I don't know. I heard it.
I'll tell you later.
Right, okay.
Bonus content.
Obviously, as everybody will know, Liverpool won 1-0 at Bramall Lane, avoiding dropping points in front of the fabled Pucker Pie stand. And
They sing about greasy chip butties as well. I mean,
they also sing about
strange
hills, but they're weird.
yeah.
So it was a...
Well, didn't just on that? Didn't they? A small minority tried to, and the rest either fucked them off or sang over them or something like that.
Oh, I don't know if that's true. That's well done.
Yeah, apparently,
I saw a
apparently
tweet about that a small minority tried to sing "Always the Victims," and then I'll stand up for Sheffield. I'll do it. No one else will. I'll stand up for them.
Steel City, massive over in Ireland. Well, it was a typically efficient performance, obviously by the lads, in what is perceived to be fluky style. It couldn't have been a better way, to be honest, from a personal perspective. A United loanee in goal, fucking up, and handing Liverpool 3 points, and it's 7 wins in 7 games now. And I think we're knocking on the door of, is it City's record from last season win wise?
That was 16
18.
in a row.
17-18, wasn't it?
Mm.
That was win number 16, and I think City made it 18. So we win 3 more, and we'll have another record to comfort ourselves when it comes second.
Our next 3 games are what? Leicester, Man United, and Tottenham.
Yeah,
that's definitely going to happen.
And City, or City's the one after that as well, isn't it?
It's probably a bit weird, but I probably fancy us more against City than United and Tottenham. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's probably because Laporte's out, but
And the game will be frying Pep's brain as well, and
already.
They don't tend to do so well when Pep's brain's being fried.
Oh, love it.
He loves our front 3. Great set of lads.
But well, there's been a perception since the full-time whistle went, really. That's been pushed, and it's been pushed for the last 48 games, in which Liverpool have only lost 1 game in, of Liverpool being lucky. Don't get me wrong, obviously the way that Liverpool scored, it was a lucky goal. However, nobody kind of pointed towards our 3 clear chances that were missed as
and a missed penalty.
And that as look towards Sheffield United. Is there anything that you guys take from that?
The narrative was weird, wasn't it? Because it was just like, I guess because if you watch it on Match of the Day, but even Match of the Day, you'd see the big chances we missed. But it's because we won by a lucky goal. But we had the chances. Even Salah has the chance to make it 2-0, and they have the one big chance, but it would have been ruled off by offside anyways. Even though the Leon Clark chance, but even though it was weird how that counted on all the any of the expected goals,
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
It's because the free kick wasn't given. So
it's happened a few times this season. I mean, is it? I mean, especially with chances like that, it's not really hard to tell that he was offside. I don't know why stats and data companies aren't really chalking them off in the days of VAR.
I suppose we might be in a period where, because everything is all those things are generated automatically, and you'd have to go in manually for every game and start chalking off chances. So there'll probably be a period where, as far as analytics go, with Liverpool's new high line kind of designed to make the most of the new VAR, there'll probably be a time where we'll be underrated a bit by the analytics community.
It's happened a few times already this season. I mean, I still think Tammy Abraham's chance against us, the 1-on-1, I still think that would have been brought back for the most minuscule offside.
Oh, I thought
humanly
it was quite
possible.
Comfortably on.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I thought
on your own
about half a yard on side.
Yeah, no, he just ruined us.
He did us, yeah.
That's also just the one that can come to my head. I'm fairly certain there's another one. I can't.
Yeah, I know what you're on, but
I also think we'll have plenty of them ourselves where we've done it and missed when we would have been ruled off.
Yeah, it's probably just an issue with expected goals, but it's, as you said, it's particularly going to affect Liverpool because of this high line that we're playing. Jamie Carragher's worst nightmare. But I don't know. I've had a few qualms with XG in general this season. I mean, I think I pointed out on Twitter the other day, Harry Kane's chance against Leicester was given far too much of a chance in the XG models. I
thought yesterday's Champions League game was funny.
We'll get to that.
We'll.
I'm just saying. This season's XG's been a bit.
XG has been a bit ropey. It has. I think.
So it's almost like everyone they've noticed that everyone's talking about it, and they've tried to overcomplicate things, and then it's kind of come a little bit.
That wouldn't be like the analytics community, inaccessible and difficult to access. For the layman.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with expected goals models is, personally, I would be expecting them to have actually kicked on a bit by now, and I don't know.
It's still too basic to take.
It is, yes.
You still can't use it as a definitive statistic to say which team should have won.
See,
especially not over one game. It's meant to be. It's all about sample size.
It's a very good indicator to tell a team how good the chances they are creating are and how consistent and how sustainable it is. To take it in isolation and to analyse a team purely based on it, it's still far too basic.
See, my issue with, as Shane was saying there, you can't really take it on the basis of one game, but being a Liverpool fan and seeing this Liverpool team, it's kind of opened my eyes to the fact that Liverpool are being written off by the analytics community time and time again because Manchester City is just so ridiculous in these metrics that they're so far ahead of Liverpool, when in reality I think what goes missing in this kind of debate is that at the end of the day, if you win 1-0, you get the same amount of points as the team that wins 7-0. And if you are ridiculously efficient in terms of 1-0, like Liverpool are, Liverpool's defence is ridiculous, whereas Manchester City's offence is ridiculous. But if Liverpool are just as efficient in these 1-0 victories than Man City are in these 7-0 victories, then at the end of the day,
you're going to end up getting the same point.
Exactly, and it takes an off day from City to drop points, and it'll take an off day from Liverpool to drop points.
I don't like expected points as a.
I don't at all. I really don't like that.
I was about to mention that. Yeah,
that takes into account. You get more points if you have a bigger margin of error. Margin for your XG. When in fact, it doesn't matter if you win 2-1 and your XG is 2-1 or your XG is 4-0, and you win 4-0. You're still going to get 3 points. It's all well and good if there's bonus points in football, but there isn't. So the whole expected points thing for me is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we can kind of stay on the XG track, and we can talk about Mo Salah, who I personally noted from the Sheffield United game was pretty poor, and personally I think a lot of it's got to do with his positioning. He started very wide this season. He's not really he's not tracking back as much. Sorry, he's tracking back just as much as he was last season, which is not a lot, but he's not our main attacking outlet, it seems, whereas he was last season. The main attacking outlet this season seems to be Firmino. I was wondering what you guys think of Salah. Just for some context, he's 6th in terms of expected goals this season, which I think he's behind the likes of Sterling, Callum Wilson, Sergio Aguero, and a couple of others. And he's 10th overall in terms of scoring, and he's put into what you could probably say are poor performances recently. Chelsea and, well, I thought he was poor against Sheffield United. But yeah, I was just looking to see if you guys had noticed anything about Salah's performances this season that was maybe casting a few doubts.
Has he started the same in his previous 2 seasons though?
Yes.
Is this just what Mo Salah does? Is this just what he does, and then as soon as it goes to a yellow ball at winter, he suddenly, which is what it is now, it's going to be a yellow ball from now on. It's October.
Well, I was wondering
is
whether
it just that it takes time to get into his stride? It could be something simple, especially if Klopp's changing things every season in terms of what he should be doing. Because they say last season, bit more narrow, bit more close to goal, played up front at times. This season, complete opposite. Stretch the pitch out a little bit and then get closer to goal when we're closer to goal, sort of thing. So I just think it might just be a simple, this is what Mohamed Salah does, and we might not be talking about this in February when he's joint top scorer in the league again.
Yeah, I actually noted in the notes that he did actually start worse last season, and there was a lot of doubts until Bournemouth away of his general performance, even though he did start to pick up form.
It was the one season, he was getting the one season wonder.
Yeah,
that was November.
It was,
I think.
Yeah,
Bournemouth away. So this is the start of October.
Yeah.
Also, Egypt don't play again, I don't think, in October. So I think he's got another international break off. So I think
he needs it.
He needs it. I mean, you could tell he needed the first one. I thought Sheffield United did a lot of things well up until the final. The one-on-one really sticks out, obviously, because that was the chance to kill the game. He didn't take it. I thought he played pretty well in the first half. I don't think it was great, but I think the one where Mane hits the post and we're completely overplaying it for no reason. I think Salah does pretty well there. I think
he gets lucky though because he tries to play in. He goes to play in Wijnaldum.
But I think he played. He almost did the right thing, and he benefited from the fact that he had a second chance at doing it.
Yeah.
He wasn't the one for once that messed it up.
No, he did his job.
So,
albeit we got lucky.
So Mane had a bad game. Well, I think Mane was worse than Salah against Sheffield United. I don't think Firmino was very good against Sheffield United. I just think the whole front three had individually pretty poor games. But I thought Salah was better than the other two, personally.
I suppose it's an issue of if they got the service as well, because Sheffield United play with like a back five and a midfield three, and like they're pretty.
I think what we've got to say is
they're pretty compact down the middle.
Yeah,
Like
I think
all three of those big chances we talked about. The first one, Mane, where Virgil just punts it down the middle. Mane makes a good run, and the ball just gets away from him, and he slices it. It looks really bad, but you can see how Mane missed it. And then the second one, Gini nicks it in midfield, and we break quickly and almost fuck it up, but don't. And then Salah's chance just comes from a back pass. So none of it was like we were passing it around in front of them and we opened them up. It all came from quick turnovers or just like basically stealing the ball off them in their final third, or else punting it long through the middle. There was no kind of getting Trent and Robertson in position and things like that.
I think a lot of teams will struggle at Bramall Lane.
They're a good team. They're really good. They're a really good team.
You got to say fair enough to them, fair play to them, because a lot of people forget when you're analysing your own team that there's 11 players on the other team who are being coached to do their own specific job. It's not like you're coming up against randomly controlled AIs who you know what they're going to do, and it's your job just to play your way around them. The other team are coached to do a job, and so Sheffield United were coached
this particular
very
team
well.
Are coached. Yeah, they're coached really well.
Chris Wilder did a great job. Klopp said if it was a draw, it would have been fair enough. He respected that. So I think, as Dave said, we had 3 good chances. We had a penalty not given. We were the better team. If you look at it in black and white, which a lot of people don't, you could say 3-1 would have been a more fair scoreline than 1-0. So. Yeah, I don't think it was particularly lucky. I think it was a comfortable win, but the front three have to start performing a little bit more consistently in these sorts of games.
We do need to get them the ball as well, though, because as we were talking about, like the main when we were in possession and kind of like normal play, like it was just apart from Virgil punting it up to Mane that one time, it was Matip kind of feeding the ball into Gini, who was coming into the number 10 area, but even then Sheffield United were always kind of ready for that, or they were always able to just get something on it and kind of stop us in open play.
Well, yeah, I think one of the contributing factors, especially to Salah, is that Liverpool historically have tended to overload the left side, leave Salah 1v1 or a bit more isolated on the right side, so he can get his opportunities that way. Against Sheffield United, Matip had joint most dribbles of any Liverpool player with 2, and Trent actually had the most passes of any Liverpool player. So it was all going down that right side. I don't think Robertson's been... He certainly hasn't been as poor as people have said he's been this season, but I don't think he's been his old self.
I hope he doesn't play tonight.
I hope he doesn't play tonight. I hope
Milner plays tonight.
He looks tired. But as Josh has alluded to, we've got the defence doing the midfield's job, which, don't get me wrong, in some games is fine, but I mean, some of the numbers to come out of the Sheffield United game are just pretty much unforgivable. I mean, we've noted here that Wijnaldum played 90 minutes, Henderson played 65. Wijnaldum only had 1 more pass than Henderson the whole game. And
I actually thought it was one of Wijnaldum's not better games, but when you see him in a number 8 against a team who are going to defend a bit, you think it's just going to be classic anonymous. I at least thought he was, as Josh was saying, he was trying to get into that number 10 position. He did get it a couple of times off Matip, and I thought once Henderson went off and it went 4-2-3-1, I actually thought he looked, when you give him more to do, when you put him in the dovetail, I thought he looked good. He was starting to just win battles, and
I thought he was just better second half. I think he had his first half was very Wijnaldum.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. But you don't know how it would have been if he wasn't playing. It might have looked a different game. So whether he was just doing that job, fine. But I thought second half, and after the change to 4-2-3-1, he looked a little bit more comfortable, I thought, when he had Fabinho next to him rather than
it's because you give him more to do, because if you're asking him to be if you're asking him to get it in the middle of the pitch and be Tony Kroos, he just can't do that. But if you say, just set up here in the centre of the pitch and just win battles and give it to people. You know, it's like the bigger the it's like that's why it's big game genie, because it's like the bigger the challenge, the more well suited he is to it. If it's a game where he's expected to be some kind of playmaker or kind of ball recycler, he's just not built for it. He can do a lot of things, but he can't do that.
Well, Klopp came out and said afterwards that he wasn't happy with how the midfield worked. He said,
and Hendo was crap.
He said
was not good.
His actual quote was, we needed to have players in between the lines. The midfielders didn't get there, so Gini and Hendo didn't come into the number 10 position next to Bobby. So obviously there was a plan in place for those two to actually get in between the lines and get further forward, impact the game a little bit more, and they didn't do it. So it's obvious this is not by design. Well, it can't be by design, because he's changed it with nearly about half an hour to go. Obviously, can't have been happy with it. He brought Origi on, went 4-2-3-1. We suddenly looked that more comfortable. We had Firmino in the position where obviously Klopp wanted the midfielders, getting in between them, roughing it up for them, because we were just playing in front of them. It was too easy. They had a back five and then a three in midfield, and we were playing in front of that, and there was no way we were going to break them down doing that. So the midfield obviously just didn't do what they should have been doing. Whether this changes when Chamberlain and Keita get back in the team, I'm not sure. You'd like to think it would, because Keita was doing it last season really nicely before he got injured. He was trusted at the new camp. A lot of people were surprised by that. So I think Keita coming back, and Chamberlain less so at the moment because he just seems a little bit off it, will be quite important to stop us having these horrible battles of attrition against teams like Sheffield United away.
Yeah, before we move on to I think it's
Salzburg.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say it's safe to say it's going to be a more exciting game than an away game against Sheffield United. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Alexander-Arnold's defensive performance. He was Liverpool's most active defender: 3 tackles, 2 interceptions, 5 clearances, and 1 block shot. I think this season he's improved vastly defensively. I think that's probably 3 games now. Napoli, Chelsea, and Sheffield United, where I think he's been excellent defensively. And as we said before, he was our most active passer with 114, linking up with Henderson on that right side. But less said about that, the better. And just a quick, interesting stat about Trent. He actually has a higher XG total this season than Wilfried Zaha, Felipe Anderson, Jack Grealish, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and Ayoze Perez. And I haven't just
checked. Jack Grealish is just happy that you threw his name into that.
Well, I haven't just cherry picked them either.
Is that from shots or from assists as well?
No, that's from shots. That's expected goals as in goals.
He had a good chance against Newcastle, didn't he? Trent, was it 1-on-1? Yeah. That probably makes up quite a bit of it.
And the Chelsea goal.
Well,
that's not really a chance, though, is it? And if you're looking at XG,
I just found it fascinating that he's got a higher XG than about 100 odd millions worth of talent, and Wilfried Zaha, who many Liverpool fans would have splurged £60 million on last season. But yeah, that's with a minimum of 6 appearances this season and 400 plus minutes as well. So it's not kind of cherry picked to prove a point. It's he's very good, and he's 4th overall in terms of expected assists, Shane, in the league, actually behind Firmino, ironically. But yeah, we can move on anyway to more youngsters in Red Bull Salzburg. And, well, a youngster that can only really be described as the embodiment of Hitler's wet dream in Erling Haaland. This kid looked like an actual machine. I just couldn't imagine him and De Bruyne in the same team together. They're just, the Pink Pogba, and I don't even know what Haaland would be.
It's just some sort of souped up Milky Bar kid, isn't he? I'm hoping Klopp has a word in his ear tonight, and Anfield can kind of seduce him a little bit.
He's an ugly man. He is an ugly man. I just wanted to point that out. I don't
think looks really matter.
It does.
If he's banging in 30 goals a season for us, I couldn't care less what he looks like.
He looked like Pepe the Frog. Like, he's... Wow.
Could you imagine if that was Klopp's opening sales pitch? You are an ugly man. You are an ugly man.
I thought Kylian Mbappe's wingspan was freakish enough. He looks like Batman when he starts running away with his arms like wide. He was clearly
developed by his father Alf Inge Haaland to one day grow up and take revenge on Roy Keane.
Yeah, so if you don't know who that is, just search his name into Google, into YouTube, and then you'll see.
Roy Keane ended that man's career. Yeah,
he ended his father's career. He's like, you ended my father's career. It's gonna be like some animation.
No,
fucking hell.
You know those jokes about on Twitter where people like say, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna treat my son like the next Mbappe, or they're gonna be doing the step overs in the back garden forever." I feel like that's what Alf Inge Haaland did with Erling. It was just, it looked like he's been developed in a lab.
Like the next Kevin. He treated him like Kevin Davies. He just fucked balls at his head. And fed him fucking 10 pints of milk a day.
He looked
he's 6'4" and he's built like fucking Robocop.
Can you imagine if he was black? The amount of questions about his age, like,
yeah,
yeah,
he'd be getting the Lukaku treatment.
Oh, if he was from an African country, God
imagine the songs they'd be singing about him.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, 11 goals, 4 assists in 8 games for Erling Haaland this season.
He's got a goal contribution from between the Bundesliga and Champions League. He's got a goal contribution every 35 minutes. I think
he's going to make that 13 goals tonight.
I think he's
got a good test against Van Dijk. But if the rumours are true and Matip is out for tonight, then
they aren't rumours. He's out.
So Gomez, he's going to be looking to get on Gomez.
I think Gomez would be a better fit against him, though.
Gomez is a better suit.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's fast?
He's fast, yeah.
Oh, is he fast? Oh, great.
Oh, yeah. He's rapid Haaland. He's
someone who's as tall as he is.
Well, yeah, it's just that pure leg span. Once he gets going, you just can't stop him.
He's got arms and legs.
Yeah, arms and legs, just pure aerodynamicity.
It's proper. I'm just looking at.
That a word?
To Google it.
I think so. I'm hoping it's a word.
Aerodynamicity a word? I'm sorry, I'm challenging that.
Sorry. Aerodynamicity.
Rugby player. He's like a rugby player.
Aerodynamicity.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is it? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's Urban Dictionary, yeah.
I'll give you half a mark for that one. I'm not buying the fact that it's an actual word.
It should be.
Just take half a mark unless you want me to get the Oxford Dictionary website up. Yeah. Do you know what? You said it right first time. We didn't have to edit it and have a second take, so I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I know.
Aerodynamicity.
Well, anyway, moving on. I've got in my notes here, insert bad joke about Jesse Marsh being Mark's friend, tick.
He's an American.
Yeah, he's the first ever American to manage in the Champions League, and we cannot be beaten by this man.
Should have been Bob Bradley.
We can't be beaten by a man called Jesse. End of.
Not when his name's seriously Jesse. Like, doesn't matter if it's like your nickname, but his name is actually Jesse.
His name is actually Jesse.
Any manager who calls it soccer practice cannot come to and lose anything other than 10-0.
I want to break the Besiktas record tonight.
Yeah, big time.
Fuck it, let's break some teenage hearts. I would say let's crush imperialism, but then you look at our owners and it's not very good.
All right.
We're also sponsored by New Balance. But yeah, looking at their past record in Europe, I forgot what continent we were playing on then. 4 defeats in the last 2 European campaigns, all away. to Napoli, Bruges, Marseille, and Lazio. When Lazio were good.
Is it always the final hurdle as well before the group stage?
No, it is in the Champions League, but they don't get beat.
Yeah.
They don't get beat. They draw and go out the away goals every single time.
They're very good at getting to within 5 minutes of the group stage and then completely crumbling.
I think this is actually the first time in the group stage, isn't it? That's crazy to me. But yeah,
and it was an American that did it.
Oh.
They had Marco Russo, however you pronounce his name, and they were so fun to watch.
Yeah, they've had a few good teams. Jonathan Soriano was banging them in there a few years ago.
Under-19s won the look, by the way, Larucci.
Oh, great. But yeah, they've got a few players that I've picked out.
Can you pronounce them all?
Oh, don't.
The first two, especially.
I'm gonna give this a go. Right, here we go. Right, so obviously we've got Erling Haaland. We've got Pongracic.
Yeah, close enough.
And fucking hell, Szoboszlai. Yeah, there you go. And Sekou Koita as well.
Where's he from?
He is from Mali.
I was going to say, it sounds like the Pro Evo version of
Sekou. It does.
It does. He really hasn't read the sheet, has he?
Who, me?
He even has the.
Literally says plays for Mali underneath.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's under 20 World Cup. He could be representing anyone at senior level.
Oh yeah. That comes from a man.
I didn't read all the way to the end, Josh. I didn't read all the way to the end.
This isn't Ireland, Shane. This is Mali. Come on.
Similar flag.
But yeah, they've it goes without saying that they've got a lot.
They do that Red Bull thing, Salzburg, where it's just they like. I don't know. Is it that they were like, maybe Red Bull American? I don't know, but they've always been like.
Aren't they Austrian Red Bull?
Maybe sure. Either way, they've always had really. They've always had really ahead of the curve scouting with like whether it was using analytics or whatever. But they like they brought Mane to Europe, pretty sure, and they've had like lots of talent come through. Like, and then of course Naby was at their sister club, Leipzig in Germany. So they've always been really good at kind of getting talent, and that's
Naby was at Salzburg as well.
Well, and Gerard Houllier is the...
Yeah, Naby was at Salzburg.
Oh, yeah, they played together, yeah. But they've always been good. They've always had, like, lots of talent come through them, and it's become more and more, and that's what's kind of propelled... as well as pumping in money, because they've been doing it with, like... It's not like they've gone Chinese Super League on it and just brought, like, lots of overpaid players to Austria. They've done it through like young talent like Haaland and stuff like that.
It's still admirable the project that they've done there. It's, I mean, as you were saying, Shane, with the African talents, Mane, Keita, Amadou Haidara, who left for Leipzig in January. They've brought through a lot, and I think they're on the forefront of the Asian market now as well. They've got a few players there. Who look like they're gonna go on to bigger and better things one day, as players come to expect when they're at Salzburg. But they've got quite a few Asian players, particularly South Koreans, in the team now.
Who's that? Have they still got that winger who's really fast, or that forward?
Thanks for that.
Really fast.
Thanks for that, Josh. That's not.
Yeah, Haaland. We were just talking about him.
No, it's Takumi Minamino. It is. They've got Hee-chan Hwang as well from Korea.
Yeah, I think it's Hwang who was the one who played last season. Who was
Hwang?
He destroyed. I can't remember what team it was, but he destroyed who they were.
No, I think that was actually Minamino. But
it was one of them. They're fast.
It was one of them.
Really fast.
Yeah, but I think the game's going to be exciting regardless. I think they're going to come out and at least have a go, which is what I think Liverpool will want them to do.
It's not must win for us, but we really would like to.
I think it is.
I think it is as well. We've
lost to Napoli.
It's
no, you could draw tonight and just
No.
it means you have to go. It means you have to go to Salzburg and win, basically. And assuming,
we don't want to put ourselves in that position.
I also.
But that's why I'm saying it's not like mathematically must win. It's just it'd help a lot if we did.
I don't think going there is a foregone conclusion either, to be honest.
Yeah,
Napoli is the last game, isn't it? Napoli.
No, second last, I think. I think we're away at Salzburg as our last game.
Okay, so if we have 9 points, if we win tonight and beat
it's not. Napoli home.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the first game you play last. So
Right, okay.
we play Salzburg after the 2 games against Genk.
Okay.
I was just trying to figure out, was there a way that we can like play the teenagers in the group stage, but it never works out like that.
If we would against Napoli, you probably would have done.
Champions League group, so.
What we mentioned then about potentially having to rely on winning in Salzburg, they actually haven't been beaten at home in Europe since 16-17.
Oh, right. Sorry, Dave, I'm going to ruin it. It is Salzburg away as the last game.
What?
Just checked it. I thought they did. I think they flipped the first 2 in the second half. So yeah, Salzburg away on the 10th of December.
Okay.
This is the unimpeachable fact-checking that they tune in for,
5 to 6 kickoff. It's 5:55. Early kickoff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We have Watford at home after that. So
well, yeah, we certainly don't want to be relying on that then. You haven't got the whole Anfield thing. But yeah. Anyway,
must win game then.
Well,
predictions.
Yeah. Oh, can we do starting 11s first?
We can.
I think that's more important.
God, Shane, stop.
Predict the starting 11.
Should we do it one at a time? Or,
yeah, go on, Josh. You go first since you were so eager.
Okay. Adrian, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Milner, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Keita, Mane, Origi, Salah.
Shane?
Yeah, I'll say the same. Wait, who did you say starting left back?
Milner.
Yeah, Paul Joyce's rumoured 11 says Robertson, Milner in midfield with.
I could understand why he put Milner.
I think he actually said Milner and Ox, which maybe wouldn't be that much a surprise since Naby's only minutes were literally against MK Dons. He got taken off early and didn't see any action at Sheffield United. I wouldn't mind Origi starting either, just to give whichever one the front 3.
I'd have Origi, maybe Origi in for Salah, and put Mane on the right potentially. He'll start. I think Origi will start.
Yeah, especially because he was good. He was good coming off the bench against Sheffield.
In terms of what I think Klopp will go for, I think it'll be Adrian, Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, Trent.
Matip's out.
Not Matip, obviously not Matip. Gomez. Fabinho, Milner, Ox, Origi. Ooh, I actually don't know. Yeah,
I got a feeling he could not play Mane tonight.
I think he might not play Mane. I think it might be Origi, Firmino, and Salah.
Mane was in the press conference, so the person at the press conference normally starts.
That'll be because
unless it's Lallana.
That'll just be because of the connection with Salzburg, though. Yeah, but anyway,
we think Origi will start, and
yes,
one of them will get rested for another big game at the weekend.
Well, I mean, before we go into predictions, we can just have a quick look at Salzburg's previous games against English opposition.
All right, this just proves that David did do his homework.
And
his dog did not eat it.
It's like when the teacher doesn't bother to check. It's like, no, look, I actually did it.
It's not just that. I found Liverpool links, and yeah. So anyway, they lost against Blackburn in 2006, which we found out pre-show was under the tutelage of Giovanni Trapattoni and Lothar Matthäus, which is, I've just completely butchered that name, by the way. Fuck it. Which was bizarre. They then got beat by Blackburn. Benny McCarthy and David Bentley scored. But the Liverpool link is in their defeat at the Etihad Stadium in 2010 against Manchester City in the Europa League. Ex-Liverpool striker Mario Balotelli with 2 goals. And the performance was capped off by convicted paedophile Adam Johnson. that night, James Milner partnered Patrick Vieira in midfield, so it'll be his second appearance against Salzburg, just 9 years apart from his first. So, Josh, what is your prediction?
5-2 to Liverpool.
What the fuck? All right, Shane.
Yeah, good game.
I think both teams to score isn't a bad shout.
That's not both teams to score. That's both teams to assault each other.
Yeah.
I think they could go like 2-1 up after like half an hour and then blitz them.
You're always so positive, Josh.
I've said we're going to score 5 goals. How positive do you want me to be?
Fucking Shane.
3-1 Liverpool, and there'll be no sex offenders on the score sheet. At least not. I suppose not as of who can predict the future.
I'm going to completely contradict what I said about Erling Haaland earlier and say 2-0.
Dave's a fan of Jurgen's boring red.
So, you think we were done with previews? We're not done with previews. We've got Leicester City to preview.
This is just so you'd have to do another podcast after the Salzburg game.
Mr. Chaplips is back at Anfield.
Return of the Brudge. Return of the Brudge.
Yes.
Mr. Chaplips.
He's back.
Mr. Third best manager in the league.
What?
Beats Newcastle 5-0 once.
What?
Yeah, he's the third best manager in
What?
the league. You heard it.
What? Right.
Have you got an alternative?
I have.
I will. I'll let you have the Rodgers shout when he wins a game.
Hang on, Pochettino hasn't fell off the face of the earth, you know. Like,
he's not far off. he's not far off after last night.
We're gonna get to that later.
But yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna.
You
get
told
to
me off for it.
Listen. Leicester, good, but their team also very good. I'm not discrediting what Rodgers has done.
That's like saying we're good and so's Klopp.
However, their team is a lot better than people are making out. What do you mean?
They're in third place.
So West Ham could have went third. Like, come on, fucking hell.
I'm just saying, like, they're legit.
What's?
I'm surprised Rodgers didn't go and sign someone like Catamol.
Well, he will soon. He will soon because he's fucking gutted the recruitment. So
yeah,
in all likelihood, he probably will.
Lee Condriton.
Yeah, from Celtic.
Best pal.
Completely ruined it at Celtic. But I mean, where's all this hype over Manuel Pellegrini? Like, really?
Yeah, but Pellegrini had last
Premier League winner.
Premier League winner Manuel Pellegrini.
I think Pellegrini's better than Rodgers. I didn't say Rodgers was the third.
No, I know that.
Shane.
But the point I'm making is that I think Rodgers benefits from the fact that he's British a lot, and that he
careful.
He thinks.
My sectarianism red light is going off here.
But yeah, he's pretty much the only British manager who dares to think outside the box. I mean, what, Wilder? That's it, and how maybe? Like, that's why he's put up on the pedestal. Like, I don't know.
He is a good manager.
He doesn't think out the box.
He's a good manager. I'm not saying he's not a good manager, and I'm not saying that the job he's done at Leicester isn't a good job. He has done a very good job, in fact, at Leicester. However, to say he's all of a sudden he's the reason that Jamie Vardy, for example, has completely come out of his shell after being managed by Club Puel. It's just a bit over the top to me, because, well,
I like how we've jumped literally straight to the last point of the intended preview.
Fuck it. This is what Brendan Rodgers does to things. Like, yeah, but
I mean, it was just I love it, the fact that people are using Rodgers as a stick to beat Solskjaer with. That's really funny, because everyone's saying, "Oh, look what you can do in such a short space of time with players that you haven't signed."
To be fair, there's no
And-
shortage of sticks to beat fucking. You've got a whole fucking factory. You got a stick factory.
You've got the Amazon rainforest.
If you want to go after the
Worth
fucking
of
wheelmaster.
No,
They
but
can't sing that anymore. That's the great thing because Sanchez
my
left.
my point was that Leicester are a good team, and this is going to be top 3, one of the toughest home games we're going to have in the league all season.
And I don't think it is because Brendan Rodgers is going to be Brendan Rodgers, and he's going to come here and try and play his game, and they're going to get absolutely fucking spanked.
Shane, the thing about Leicester though is, would you say? I don't know. Would you say their team is? I wouldn't say it's comparable with Tottenham's, especially, but is it that far off Arsenal and Chelsea's?
It's comparable with Tottenham's.
Would you say?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking about somebody with that on Twitter, and we were like comparing the squads. I think like
They've got the
Tottenham's
second best
getting that
wing back
little
pairing in the league by far.
yeah, they do for sure, and they have Soyuncu. He's getting rave reviews at the moment. Ndidi is
decent.
Ndidi isn't Ndidi, where he just like he does one thing really really well, and he protects the defense, and then Tielemans is really legit. Maddison, if he's playing, is legit. Vardy is Vardy, and their wingers are like.
Yeah, the
okay.
wingers is their problem.
Yeah,
It's not a problem because I think their wingers like do a job for them. Like Jose Perez hasn't like troubled the goal scoring at all. But
I think they work a lot. Yeah.
He's got loads of. He's got like massive defensive numbers.
Harvey Barnes looked nice against Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of him, but like the point is that they've like we were comparing them with other top 6 squads, and they have all the best young talent, and they have like in a year's time, you'd say who's if it was just like a football manager sim, which of these squads will improve the most with no transfers? You'd say it's Leicester because they have so much upside at the moment, and Rodgers, for all his faults, is someone that gives young players a chance, and he does have a track record of young players improving under him.
I think Brendan Rodgers' legacy at Leicester will be defined by how he replaces Vardy.
Yeah, that'll be the big challenge for them.
It depends on whether he's there to replace Vardy.
Well, I think Vardy will be. His wheels will start coming off in the next 18 months.
Do you think that man runs a Red Bull?
We've been saying it. We've been saying it for a while, but yeah, eventually he has to slow down.
When he gets to 34, he'll be slowing down and becoming less.
His liver just gives out from all the Skittles vodka.
WKD. But yeah, listen, it sounds as though I'm just trying to completely discredit what Rodgers has done there. I'm not. I just want to clarify that I just don't like how over the top people tend to get about him.
He's polarizing.
Personally, yeah,
his team's passed the ball around. That's why he's overhyped.
He is polarizing, but I think, well, I mean, we were talking about XG totals and the effect that they have earlier, but Leicester's is a bit of a legit issue that they've barely conceded any chances, which is fair enough. Like, the defence looks seriously good, which is unusual for Rodgers' teams. However, they're running pretty hot in terms of finishing chances. I mean,
I think nearly all that came from the Newcastle game as well.
I mean, look at the Maddison goal, for example.
Yeah. Well, they scored 5 against Newcastle, but I think they barely had put up 1.5 in
four
expected
of them
goals.
were against 10 men as well.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it on Understat now, and they have them down as the second best defense in the league in terms of shots conceded, in terms of expected goals against. I give you Dave probably already knows this. I give you a fiver, Josh, if you can guess who the best defense is in the league.
Well, is it not Man City?
It's not Man City. It's quite a funny team.
Is it Burnley?
No, it's the other team in Manchester.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
United have been put up as the best XG against, but Leicester and United are up there like at 5.5, and then it's a big gap to like Liverpool with 7.5.
It's probably because they had a game against each other where both teams did nothing going forward. So.
And when I've watched Leicester this season, they're doing that Rodgers
but
thing.
I watched the Leicester Man United game. Both teams crap. So
yeah, well, I watched them against Chelsea as well, and like first half they did that weird that Rodgers thing. It's just sterile possession, especially when they play Chowdhury, when they play him in midfield instead of playing Maddison in like midfield, they play him in the front three. But like with Maddison, Tielemans, and Ndidi in midfield, and then the two wingers, and then Vardy, I think it's like a legit attacking force. But Rodgers has been like defaulting with Chowdhury in there a lot. Who I think.
Do you think he'll do that? Do you think he'll do that at Anfield?
Well, if Maddison isn't fit, probably that'll be his default.
Overcomplicated.
I think. But it basically suggests that there's going to be not a lot of openings for Liverpool, and Vardy will just be Vardy at the back. Although with Gomez, it actually works out for Liverpool that Gomez will be back. So if ever Vardy was going to have a tough game to find space, it'll be against the high line. It'll be against Gomez and Van Dijk. But I think it'll probably be a pretty low scoring game, low on chances. We'll see what happens, and that's why I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's a very, very possible that we'll see. I think that it's not impossible that we'll see Liverpool drop points in this game.
I just think that their defensive profiles are just the opposite of what you want when you're playing Liverpool. You want really athletic, quick centre backs, and I think that as much as Soyuncu has replaced Maguire, he's a similar profile to Maguire. He's very hands-on. He's very he can seem very clunky and sluggish like Maguire. I mean, we only have to go back. Was it? I don't know whether it was last season or I think it was the season before.
Season Maguire scored.
No, it's the season before where Salah completely... That is not the type of defender you want against Liverpool, because...
Last season was that horrible game in the snow.
Yeah.
When we could have gone 10 points clear.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
But, you got Ricardo Pereira on one side, who, as much as I rate him, he can be caught wanting at times. But I do think
he's one of those defenders who has very high tackles and interceptions, where he's just like he's best kind of playing high up, playing aggressive, trying to press and nick the ball. But if Rodgers chooses to sit back, you'd be kind of happy to kind of drop crosses in on him and let Mane and Firmino kind of peel off. But then Soyuncu is fucking man mountain, and Evans, they'll be. It depends if Rodgers wants to sit back, because Chilwell's pretty good in the air as well.
Yes, Chilwell is legit. I was going to mention Chilwell. I think he's probably the most reliable part of the defence against Liverpool, which is why, to be honest, I'd like to see us go 4-2-3-1 and just kind of say fuck it and play Salah central, because I don't want Salah up against their best defender. I want Salah up against Soyuncu.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Salah could go up against Soyuncu off the right, but then you're just vacating space and whatnot. And
because even if we were to start one of Naby or Ox, like, they have one of the best. Even with Maddison out, like, even if you just put Chowdhury in there as a battler, they have a really good midfield with Tielemans, him, and Ndidi. So you're not going to get anything. And like Perez is going to be this weird Dirk out where he's just going to work like a dog for them on the right. So
like a game like this is
it
where
won't be. I don't think it'll be an easy game by any stretch. I think we might have to rely on some pieces again to get an opening.
Yeah, as I was saying, what Klopp was doing last season in terms of having Naby on the left in the 4-2-3-1, that will make sense for this game, because as I said, if we can't overload the left at the moment, then we need to find a way to overload the left. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Naby will be fit enough to play that role. But, to be completely honest, I don't know whether Mane could fulfill that role. I'm not too sure. But then who do you play on the right? It's a question that needs to be answered. But I would like to see us switch from the 4-3-3, especially for this, because I know for a fact Rodgers is going to go 4-3-3, and I know it's just going to cancel each other out in midfield. And as Shane said, we're going to be relying on set pieces. We're going to be relying on individual quality, which isn't a bad position to be in if you're Liverpool, because we've got a lot of individual quality and we're very good from set pieces, but it's not really a reliable way to go and win a game. at the end of the day. But I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I've mentioned in the notes about Maddison coming back, his ability to create chances with through balls, particularly with Vardy. We touched on it a bit earlier, but do you think this is probably the biggest test that this high line is going to face this season?
Yes. There you go. Yeah, it will be.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's the game Vardy lives for. That's literally Vardy's whole thing. Where
it's him and Hazard. It's their two favourite places to come and wreak havoc. Anfield. Actually, it's just Liverpool in general for Vardy because he's very good at Leicester at the King Power Stadium against us. So,
right.
Try to keep him quiet.
Okay. Well, we're all previewed out, so
we do a prediction.
We should do a fucking Shane. Do you want to host?
Yeah, I do.
Next week,
guys. Welcome to the pod.
Right, next week I'll hold you to that. Next week,
all right.
When we've
1-0 the Reds against Leicester.
Well, I was going to say we can predict the score and how many cans of Red Bull Jamie Vardy will get through pre-game. So 1-0. How many cans of the good stuff?
Is this before the game or during? 'Cause he's definitely took him on down his socks.
Before.
Yeah, fucking punching himself in the jaw. Go on, score prediction. Bolty.
I thought you were guessing the Red Bull.
I said 4.
Oh, 4, sorry. I thought you said before. My bad.
600 milligrams of caffeine.
I think 3-1. He'll have 5 Red Bulls and 1 on his cereal.
I think back-to-back 2-0s for the Reds. And I think he'll have
solid but unspectacular Reds.
I think he'll have the solitary one kind of Red Bull because the bants will fuel him for the 90 minutes.
So, I know he's not. I know it might be different now with Rodgers, but fucking hell, all the games recently against Leicester were like against Puel. They're like the biggest battles ever, weren't they? Anytime we beat them, it was like such. He
was horrible at Southampton as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Rodgers does. Hopefully, he stands off and goes conservative because the best way for him to try and win would be to go at us. Even without Maddison, I think he'd be better off going for it. But I think you can if he was capable of, I think it'd be wise to like try and set up and keep it tight as well. But I don't think he's as proficient as what Puel was.
Right, anyway, we can move on to what I have labelled in the notes as general shite and listeners' questions. So, the first topic we can touch on is, touchy subject. We're going to give our kind of takes on, I guess, the Bernardo Silva, Mendy, Sterling and Guardiola situation. I'm sure everyone listening is aware of the situation. Basically, Bernardo Silva's compared Mendy to a mascot of, I think it's a chocolate brand in Portugal, which depicts a stereotypical black cartoon caricature, big red lips and whatnot, and just put it out there on Twitter for millions to see, before then claiming like some shit Netflix comedian that you can't have a joke nowadays without people getting offended. This was following a video on Instagram Live last year in which Bernardo Silva thought it was quite funny to ask Mendy why he was naked whilst wearing all black, which caused controversy to begin with. And then this was then followed up by Pep Guardiola somewhat justifying it, saying that Bernardo Silva was an open-minded person, that he listens to rap music, speaks X amount of languages, and actually saying that Mendy kind of looked like the character, which is absolutely absurd. And finally, the last chapter was post-Everton, where Raheem Sterling somewhat justified it as just a joke between friends after the game. So, Shane, have you got any particular thoughts on the situation before we get into it? I'll let you kick this touchy subject off.
Oh, thanks for
welcome.
passing me the rock. The only thing I'd say from it is like it's kind of it seems like Bernardo Silva's thing was just born of kind of pure ignorance. Like I think him and Mendy, they're always having the bants together on social media and that, and he thought he was just having a cheeky joke without kind of appreciating. I don't know. It's just kind of pure ignorance from him. Like he's been charged as of today. He's been charged by the FA, and like putting like kind of football tribalism aside, in cases like that, you'd prefer them to be sent on like kind of education courses or stuff like that to inform them about why stuff like this is offensive and not good, rather than him getting a 6-game ban. But football being football, it just becomes a, no pun intended, black and white thing where it's either like he's racist or he's not racist. And Guardiola, I think, has been, for all that, like Bernardo Silva is the one who kind of who did the thing. It's kind of, like I said, it's a case of ignorance with him, and you'd want him to be like educated, so he knows why you don't do that and why you shouldn't do it again and this and that. But like Guardiola's just come out and like gone full, oh, he's a fantastic person. He speaks all these languages, like no man who speaks German could be evil kind of thing. I don't know. He's been like the least helpful of all, because he just basically threw like he made it into this real us against them thing. Kind of really didn't help things, and then it kind of culminated with kind of Sterling being in front of the cameras to be like because I think it's particularly pertinent with Sterling because he's been so obviously been a target of multiple incidents of racism, but for him to have to like kind of come out into the cameras and say, "Oh, it's not like that," it shouldn't have ever been a thing. City just kind of got defensive with it, and as Liverpool fans will know, it has some parallels with the Suarez at Liverpool case in 2011, where the club just kind of decided they wanted to back their man fully, and kind of similar siege mentality, kind of us against them, where it would have been better just to be. There's obvious differences with it as well, but yeah, just not a good look for City. And I'd be most kind of, I think Guardiola's been like the least helpful of all in this whole thing, and it's just like, I don't know. I think there's going to be. I don't know if he'll get. We'll see if he gets banned or not, and then whatever the reactions to that. It's just kind of. It's a bit depressing, but it's also kind of. It's like a social media storm as well, since it happened there. Just a bit of a mess, really. And kind of surprising with the way City run that they haven't gone with this another way. But Guardiola is Guardiola, and he's gonna do what he's gonna do in these situations.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the education side of things, you would have thought that he would have learned the first time around. That's the irritating part for me. At the end of the day, he's been called out for doing similar in the past to the exact same person. To then just completely ignore that and just think you're in the right, it's just pure and utter ignorance. As you said, it's a weird one, because you don't really want people to not be racist just for the threat of being banned. But at the same time, I'm not quite sure what education is going to do to the guy when he's proven he's been pretty ignorant in the past. And City have been renowned for this siege mentality. If you look at the reaction to the FFP stuff that came out of the Spiegel, they came out in a similar siege mentality. If someone tries to diminish the City brand, they will come out in this kind of siege mentality. It's not the first time we've seen it from Manchester City, and listen. Accusations have been made about Pep Guardiola in the past. Whether or not they're true, nobody will likely ever know. But the way he's gone about it is completely and utterly wrong. To try and justify it is completely and utterly wrong. And I don't think anybody is saying that Bernardo Silva is a vehement racist. I think what they're saying is what he did was racist, and that he should recognise that, and he hasn't, and the club hasn't. And it goes so far as their own kind of poster boy for social justice in Sterling has tried to justify it as well. And yeah, it's just a complete and utter mess. But yeah, the thing that really stuck out for me was Guardiola actually saying that it kind of does resemble Mendy when it absolutely doesn't in any way whatsoever. And I am a bit disappointed in Raheem Sterling. A lot of people have said that he got put on the spot. He did. Don't get me wrong, but the way he was looking down and whatnot, he did that last year when he was talking about his own accusations of racism. I think that's just what he's like in front of cameras. It's just how he is. It is a bit disappointing that both Sterling and Guardiola decided to kind of disregard it rather than either not saying anything or just saying he was in the wrong. It's literally.
I feel bad for Sterling because I felt like he was there to get the man of the match award or whatever it was, and then he's inevitably been asked about this thing. Whereas like Guardiola's just kind of come right out, and his rhetoric was like really weird as well. He was like, if it was a did he say De Bruyne, or he said if there was a cartoon of a white person, he's like, it's the exact same thing, and like to the point where later on a fucking City fan in earnest put up a fucking picture of Kevin De Bruyne and the Milky Bar kid and said, if you compare this, it's the same thing. And it's just like, okay, there's a bit of ignorance from Silva. Let's double down on it and, kind of muddy the issue even more. It's like, oh, this can be, it's just rather than just being confront and say the Conguito's image, and there was a cartoon of it as well on Twitter where it's just like they're basically little. It's like supposed to be, I don't know if it's like an African tribe or what is it?
They're in the jungle.
They're wearing like they're in the jungle. They're wearing like grass skirts and they have spears. Like it's just like really fucking. God knows what era it's from in Portugal. I don't even sure. I hope it wasn't. I hope it's not still around in Portugal now. You'd think it's surely not, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like. It wasn't good. Once Bernardo did it, it wasn't going to be good. It wasn't going to be pretty. But like, there's ways to go about it, and just like there was ways for Liverpool to have gone about the Suarez thing and the club, rather than like, I don't know. This is Guardiola just revealing his own ignorance as well. It's like, oh, you think what Bernardo Silva was bad? Wait until I say this. It's just like, just like keep digging a hole, and it just, like I said, rather than any kind of real resolution, it just. And other people who want to be fucking edgelords as well, it just pushes them further over to the side of, oh, you can't say anything for fear it's going to be racist, or I can say whatever I want, or it's a situation that's just unearthed a lot of bad stuff, and it only like kind of deeper entrenches people rather than trying to get them to say like, look, this is a fucking blackface cartoon and it has no fucking place, even as it has no place kind of in society as a joke. But Yeah, it's. I know it's just been a shit show from start to finish, and it looks like it's going to get worse now with the FA involved.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on. We'll probably see the conclusion in the next few weeks when, well, the FA finish whatever investigations.
Speaking of shit shows, moving from one shit show to the other.
Oh yes, we can
Spurs
touch on Tottenham.
Spurs played a game of football last night against FC Bayern München, and the score was Tottenham Hotspur 2, Bayern 7.
7.
7.
Yes, 7.
That was pretty humiliating.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. I caught the highlights, and it's like, because even I think someone posted, I think it was Michael Cox posted on Twitter. It was like, I've never even seen a 2-7 before. It just looks weird. It just like 7 goals. Like, what the hell? And I saw all the finishes, and it's just Bayern like from 16 to 20 yards out, just like hitting the corner every time. It's kind of.
You know who has number 2 and 7 on the back of his shirt, don't you?
Divock Origi.
Yeah. Tottenham have been Origi like Barcelona have. And
yeah. Justin Shannon on Twitter, he had that. He was like final score, and it's just Origi in Madrid.
I'm just starting to think that this is a thing now. Whoever Origi scored, Newcastle, they've gone down the toilet since Origi scored in the last 5 minutes against them.
Barca are crap.
Barca, yeah. I'm sorry, it's.
Once Origi has touched you,
he's the Thanos of the football world. When Origi clicks his fingers, that's it. You're finished as a football club. Sorry,
yeah.
Poch.
Even Wolves actually aren't too hot this season after he scored this season.
Did he?
Yeah, FA Cup.
Oh, the game they still won.
Yeah.
It's
But at what cost? At what cost, Josh?
I thought. I mean, we touched on it earlier, didn't we? About. I don't think it's as crazy as this probably sounds. I don't think it's that much cause for concern for Tottenham. As you guys said, Bayern literally finished pretty much everything.
The expected goals. What were the totals again?
I think it was like 1.5, 2.5, something like that.
Yeah, it was like the both neither of them breached 2, but Bayern just finished absolutely everything, and remarkably, not one of them was from Coutinho.
Yeah, Lewandowski was actually on free kick duty.
Just his influence. That's just his influence, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Gaddafi goals. It's vintage Hugo Lloris just getting beat at his far post because he's got wrists made out of some feeble material that I'm not gonna.
It's a positioning though. He stands on his line or a yard off it.
I thought his positioning for the Kimmich goal was so bad. So bad. He shouldn't be beaten.
He was rooted to his line. Like he should have been 2 or 3 yards out, closed the angle.
As soon as Kimmich turns and Ndombele, he should be quite a bit.
I think you'll find his name is Ndombuti at this level.
He was actually good last night. We can't Ndombuti him. I thought he was really good.
He was okay.
The Spurs are in trouble in general, aren't they? Because for whatever about the XG moral victory, they've got issues. Apparently Pochettino had. I read it last night. It reads really funny, the tweet about what Pochettino did last night. It sounds like he just locked them in the stadium and left them or something. But he didn't he come out after a recent league game and he said that it might have been a Southampton game. He talked about different players have. Oh no, it's Colchester game. They lost to Colchester and it was there's different agendas going on at the club. This looked to be the summer that they were going to really kick on. They made a couple of good signings and they finally got to spend money. And
he's always been like that, though.
He has, yeah, but it's when you're winning, it's like, God, he's cutthroat and he's Ferguson. He doesn't take any shit. He's weeding out the weak ones. But when you're losing and results aren't good, it just looks like paranoia and infighting, and
yeah,
it's like it's everything is through the prism of results. Yeah, BT Sports say the squad is after midnight. BT Sports say the squad have only just left the stadium. Pochettino locked them in after the final whistle. Probably fucking probably just like tore strips off them for hours either way. But it's not going well for them.
I think one thing that's affecting them a lot is Harry Kane. They relied on him so much, and he's just not the same player. Pretty simply, he isn't the same.
When
player.
your ankles are destroyed multiple times, it's very difficult to be the same.
I actually saw him getting compared to Jermaine Defoe by propping up his goal tallies with penalties.
Yeah.
He's been poor. I mean, Son had 3 chances in the first 15 minutes that he probably should have put at least 2 away. But every single time, Kane was complaining to Son in positions that Kane wouldn't even give it a second thought. He would have been going for goal. They relied a lot on Kane, but I've compared Pochettino in the past to being a modern day Mourinho, obviously minus the trophies, but I've never thought that they've been particularly enthralling to watch. Like, people have made
they were when he first joined.
Yeah, okay, when he first joined, but they just became mechanical, like efficient, like Liverpool, just less so.
They just shoot loads.
They shoot loads and get a lot of crosses in the box.
They shoot on sight, really.
Yeah, a lot of crosses in the box, and it's not a reliable way to attack. At the end of the day, it's not, and they seem to have fallen off in terms of the press. They don't seem to press near as much, which does kind of corroborate the stories that came out about the players not kind of being receptive to Potter's training methods, which happened to Klopp at Dortmund as well. So it's probably just indicative of the end of the cycle. But who do Spurs get? They're in a bit of a weird position now. They're going to lose Alderweireld. They're going to lose Vertonghen. Lloris is getting older and worse, obviously, on the basis of last night. I mean, his chocolate wrists actually handed Serge Gnabry a 10 out of 10 L'Equipe rating, which is, pretty.
Do you want to know the worst part about Lloris is that it was for any kind of analytics measures, it's been him that's kind of been keeping the Spurs train afloat for the past.
I've noticed that
for the past season or so. He's always really highly rated, and even anytime I watched him, even if he does make a massive mistake, he still makes big saves for them. Like, I think in even the Ajax final, if it wasn't for him, they would have been long beaten before Lucas Moura did a madness. But even for all his mistakes, he's still a key player for it. He's still keeping them in things. But fucking Vertonghen is just
Alderweireld was
wow.
He was awful.
He should have really gotten that move to United while he still.
Ed Woodward was right.
He missed his big payoff there, so he did.
Yeah, because I think the only way he's going to get a big payoff now is China, because he is looking poor. I mean, the two of them are as well. Vertonghen's looking pretty all over the gaff as well. And
it's not like their fullbacks are any good either.
I can't believe they got rid of Trippier, to be honest.
I think they were right to sell. They should have replaced him.
Have you seen Aurier, man? Come on, you're right. They should have replaced him.
Yeah, but Trippier was. Don't forget how bad. Trippier was so bad that after the final in Madrid, he had to apologise to the fans because of how bad he was that season. Don't let that gloss over how bad he was. But they finally played Sissoko there after Aurier got signed off. I was like, that's actually a solution. If only Sissoko wasn't doing bits for them in midfield. But the fact that Sissoko has had to step up for them has kind of summed them up as well in a way.
I just can't believe that you're so reliant on crossing as an attacking weapon and you get rid of Kieran Trippier. It's just stupid to me, properly stupid. Especially when on the left side you haven't really got anybody who's of that ilk. It's not as though you can just get somebody else in on the left who can fill that void and kind of balance it out on the right. It's not going to work that way. They're conceding a lot of shots from, what the quote unquote golden zone in front of the area. The Maddison goal was a perfect example. Lewandowski's goal yesterday, and there was a couple of others that Bayern scored. That was an example of it. They're missing a DM badly. I was actually told over the summer that Ndombele could fill that void. He can't. He can't. That he's been poor defensively. I don't think he's been necessarily poor in any other regard, but he's been poor defensively. Wanyama's finished. They're gonna have to just suck it up and play Dyer bad luck at things, as Dyer is. But Harry Winks and Ndombele and Sissoko isn't working defensively. But Pochettino does seem like one of these horribly not arrogant, stubborn managers. So I don't know. Maybe he'll just stick with it until the end of the season. I think they'll probably get fourth. It's actually a really interesting fight this season for the top four because United are shite, Arsenal is shite. I actually don't think Chelsea are that bad.
Leicester are shoe-ins. As we know.
I think Chelsea will get top four. To be honest, I think it'll be Chelsea and Tottenham.
I like the look at Chelsea. I think I like the look at Chelsea as well, even though the results aren't great. Flaws. I think Lampard actually. I've been impressed with them both times they've played us this season. Like they knew exactly, especially at Stamford Bridge when we were defending the lead, they knew exactly what to do with just shifting the ball out wide and kept switching it, kept stretching, and we're kind of. They created lots of chances against us. Maybe they're better suited to the big games, but they've had like really open games like as well.
Well, they've also got Loftus-Cheek coming back as well with Hudson-Odoi, so they're adding to that team.
Yeah. There's a lot to. I think there'll be a lot of variance there. Lampard, you kind of don't really know what he's at just yet, but I like they have a lot more upside than fucking Arsenal and United and Spurs at the moment.
You know what though? I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that the players are receptive to Lampard. That the players at Arsenal, at United, don't seem as receptive to their managers. I think it's because Lampard's galvanised them.
There's Emery outshouts all over the place after the Old Trafford game there, even though they didn't lose.
And they were the better team, I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
it was two very bad teams.
Up until they scored, they were the better team.
Everyone was hoping for like a glorious shit show, but it was just a shit show. Especially the first half was just fucking dire shite.
I'll get torn to bits for this, but I'll get torn to bits for this if I mentioned it on Twitter. But I honestly don't really see what people see in Matteo Guendouzi. I really don't see it.
I think he's good under pressure, and that's...
He's a good player, but man, he's getting compared to some just stupidly talented players in comparison.
It's like McTominay is the equivalent at United. He's a young midfielder doing well in a struggling team.
I feel like Arsenal fans have got a grasp onto something.
He's showing a lot of fight and a lot of just basic competency where a lot more expensive teammates aren't. But it's such a level away from, never mind Liverpool City, even just kind of good Champions League level, that it's kind of hard to say. But he'd be like one of the last people. He'd be one of the first names on the team sheet just by default. And Aubameyang is the only other good thing they've got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm going back to Lampard. I'm really impressed with the job he's doing. To be honest, I really didn't think he'd be doing this good a job. He's completely and utterly put Solskjaer to shame.
Yeah.
I mean, Tomori has really impressed me. He was so good against Salah.
He's really good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I thought he was so good against us, just in terms of being... Because Alonso just, is never home. So
yeah, he was one-on-one against Salah constantly.
Yeah, and he did really well.
Yeah, I thought...
Even though Salah kept making really bad decisions, but like...
Yeah, but he read it really well. He matched them stride for stride. He's really athletic, but he's got that reading of the game there as well. Really impressed with him.
I remember laughing to myself. They were like, was he Derby's player of the season? They were like, oh, Tomori's going to come back and Lampard's going to slot him in. He's like, is he? Yeah, but he's legit.
I'm actually impressed with Mason Mount as well, because from what I saw of him at Derby, I just thought he was a bit of a conservative fucking Dele Alli. But his ability on the ball has impressed me at Chelsea.
Yeah, and the analytics crowd are quite down on him because he doesn't seem to contribute much in open play. But just to the eyes, he looks quite good.
Yeah,
it helps that he's had an impact against Liverpool across 2 games as well. But yeah, it's like I'd say
his biggest impact being half a foot offside for the equalising goal. Cheers,
but
Mason.
If you're a Chelsea fan at the moment, you're kind of looking forward to the next game. Whereas I don't think the same is true the other 3 big 6 would-be's.
As much as I hate Chelsea, I'm kind of glad that Michael Edwards has been proven right yet again in his pursuit of Emerson, pre-ACL obviously, but he's another one who's flourished under Lampard. He's come really good. I was kind of wondering why he went starting last season when Sarri was insistent on Alonso, but hey-ho. He's got his chance this year and he has taken it, and he's performing well in the stats again as well, ironically. But yeah, Chelsea have got something good going on. I personally think they'll finish third. I think you guys kind of agree with that, and I think Tottenham will finish fourth. And United and
no, I'm fully aboard the Brendan Rodgers hype train. I think Leicester, especially with no European football, I think that
doesn't shock me.
Yeah, we'll see, Dave, won't we?
We will. But anyway, moving on to listeners' questions. First up, we've got Ben6 Maguire on Twitter asking Gomez or Matip in the long run. Shane will probably say drop Virgil.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I think.
Don't you think Gomez will be...
In the long run, it's Gomez, because Gomez is a lot younger.
I mean, he'll look good next to Nathan Ake at Bournemouth, so...
But at the moment, the only way one of Matip or Virgil... Yeah, good one. The only way Matip or Virgil, or Matip or Gomez, just one of them gets injured and the other one drops in, and the other one is brilliant. And people are like, oh, well, they're just playing alongside Van Dijk, but they're clearly not, because like they're both really... I thought Gomez was our best player before he got injured last season, and then Matip has just been fucking... Matip's been so good in 2019 that like he's even getting mainstream attention, which like takes a lot of fucking doing in this team. You know, like even Ian Wright's caught onto it, like, and not just his defending, it's the way he moves the ball forward for Liverpool. So like, yeah, it's what a time to be alive. Fucking the options we have, like. And Hoover as well now in the youth team, even though it looks like he might become a right back. But yeah, I don't know. It is a cool thing where you have one of the best centre backs in Europe is out injured, but you can still be excited because you get to see Gomez play again. So, and Gomez, it's nice to have Gomez back for the visit of Skittle vodka.
Josh, who's your preference with the moment?
I think Matip and Gomez are as good as each other right now. It's just Matip deserves it because of what he did at the end of last season. So I don't think we'll see any drop in quality or increase in quality if you brought Gomez in over Matip or Matip in over Gomez. So
it won't be a shock if Matip is unfortunately out for 4 or 5 games and Gomez is brilliant, and then Gomez just holds on to the starting spot.
I think if you put them side by side, Gomez is a better player than Matip.
He's more upside. He has ridiculous upside.
Yeah, he has ridiculous upside in the future.
Like, he's properly world class prospect.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm talking about now. I don't think he's better than Matip.
I think if you put Gomez next to Matip as a pair, Gomez will be better than Matip will.
Yeah, because the way we play lends itself to Gomez more than Matip.
Well, aren't we talking about who's the best player for Liverpool?
Well, yeah, but he's playing next to Van Dijk, not next to Matip.
No, I'm just saying, but if you want to judge them as defenders, Van Dijk might miss a few games, you know? He's not a...
Well, yeah, I know, but...
He missed 4 months with an ankle injury for Southampton. There's a chance that these two might have to play with each other.
No, yeah,
I think
that's fine.
Gomez is better than Matip as a Liverpool defender, in my opinion.
Splitting hairs, aren't we?
Just saying, the best way you judge them as defenders is when they don't have their big daddy babysitter sat next to them. That is the best way you decide who they are when you play them side by side.
But we're doing it as Liverpool defenders, which they're going to be next to Van Dijk 99% of the time.
99% of the time, I'm talking about the 1%.
Fuck off.
We've got to judge them,
right.
And I think Gomez is better than Matip.
That's fair enough. I don't think Matip is street ahead, so that's fair enough. So that's 2 Gomez, 1 Matip.
I would also want to say, in defence of Matip, his only injury last season was when Koulibaly fell on him, which is a freak injury. This one seems to just be a knock that's going to keep him out for this game and maybe Leicester. So
I mean, Gomez's only injury was when the fucking
Grok
when another refrigerator also fell on him, so
with his studs into his leg. So
it wasn't even studs. His arse
clattered
came down on Gomez's ankle.
Yeah. So I want to put pay to the myth that these two are both injury prone, and I don't think they are.
I think Gomez is, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. At Sam Maguire, I don't know who he is, 90, has asked the riveting question of how do you eat a Kit Kat?
Shane?
4 fingers, bitch.
I suppose the only natural way to eat it is to like break off the finger and then eat the finger with your mouth and your teeth.
One by one. One by one.
One by one. Is it one by one?
By default, yeah, but there is something exhilarating about just biting into it.
No.
I do that. I do that if I want to take a walk on the wild side, you know. Color outside the lines, you know.
Is this the when you choose to have a sit down wee or stand up? This is the Kit Kat equivalent.
Yeah, you just you want to live it up, you know.
No.
I split it into 2 and then eat them individually.
Yes,
that's what I do.
Yes,
that's how I do it.
Yes.
Don't take each one off individually as a 4.
Split it in half.
Split, and have two finger Kit Kats.
Yep.
There you go, Sam.
There we go.
Is this like you can only eat Kit Kat fingers in prime numbers? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? That's so weird.
No.
What's wrong with that though? It's enjoying it. It's savouring the experience of eating a Kit Kat. That you can have two finger Kit Kat.
Yep. Surely, if you want to savor it, you want to prolong it, and if you want to prolong it, you eat one at a time.
No, because that's just insane.
Why is that insane?
Because you eat it that quick because it's tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you ever get Kit Kats for school lunch?
Yeah.
I had 2 finger ones.
I had 2 fingers and just
the 2 finger ones.
By itself.
And how did you eat it?
By
split the fingers.
Oh no!
Yeah, you split them.
No, you don't.
You split them. You want to talk about savoring? You want to talk about savoring a Kit Kat? You're on fucking lunch in school, which is crap, and you get those. You've had your crap ham sandwich, and you get those 2 glorious fingers, and it's just like you want it. That's where you want to prolong it. You want to savor. You want to split
Hang on.
it. You don't fucking inhale the thing.
So, Dave, with a 4 finger Kit Kat, do you split it in 2 and then eat the 2 fingers separately, and like just as together, or do you split the 2 when you split it into 2?
I split the 2 and then eat 1 2 and then the other 2.
Yeah, so why would you in a school lunch then have the 2?
Because it's
straight
2.
away.
Because he only eats in 2s.
No, I don't agree with that. I split it all the time.
So you break it in half, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Whereas Dave only eats in multiple.
I thought I was the one with autism. You just break everything in half.
No, but that is true. At least I'm consistent. At least I split 4 into 2 and then 2 into 1.
You and Pep fucking Guardiola.
Yeah, but I'm not a racist, so
that is the prerequisite for autism, Josh.
Sue me.
By contrast, I only like the white Kit Kats. So,
all right. Well, I don't like the Irish ones, so fuck you.
Hey, there we go.
Well, I mean, on a separate note, guess where I'm eating tonight, bitches.
Chinese.
No, Anfield because
burgers.
I go the game. No, I'm actually going to one of the posh
vegan
parts.
stalls.
No, one of the posh parts. I mean, stand.
Right.
Because my Auto Cup didn't renew, so I need spare tickets for every Champions League game this year.
So, who said that all Liverpoolians aren't Tories?
Hey, listen, I'm just undercover.
Wait. So what are you eating?
I don't know.
Are you
Or-
in a box? Is it?
Oh no,
It'll be
it's not a
£8
box.
salad.
It's like it's a membership part. So we do sit in like the posh bit of the main stand, but it's like
Yeah, it's
it's just free ale and free food before the match.
gonna be.
What? But you're not
Yeah.
allowed to take it out into the. You're not allowed to take it into the.
No, listen, it's
You
Carlsberg,
are
it's piss. So-
corporate.
Oh my god! Wait, so where do you go to get the booze? Is it just at a special stand where you have to show a ticket or something?
No. You go into the fucking part of the main stand with all the people in the suits and that, and you walk in there and
Corporate shill.
corporate shit.
Well, like, so if you can't take it back to your seat, like, you just spend 15 minutes fucking horsing everything into you.
Or you do it all before the
down
match.
3 pints, and it was like he just down 3 pints. It's, oh yeah, Shaqiri was crap there second half. It's like he wasn't in the match day squad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Jeez,
Jesus.
fucking take some pictures of that. Fucking
I will. I'll
share them with the masses,
I'll
with
get.
the unwashed.
I'll get them out there.
Oh,
On the
and
cover.
just on Kit Kats, by the way, have any of you ever had the green Kit Kats?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Josh mentioned the Irish Kit Kats. Actually, reminded me, I had them recently. It's
Is there an Irish Kit Kat?
No, there's not. But there's a green Kit Kat, which we'll claim as our own. It's a green. It has like mochi, which is like it's like the Japanese Kit Kats. It's got like green. I think it's supposed to be like green. It's green tea leaves or something, but they use it as like a substitute for chocolate. They're really good.
Yeah. I've had it once.
They're really good.
I didn't really enjoy it.
We had a multi-bag of them. I had like 6 of them in one go.
I have
And
childish.
I can tell you, I wasn't splitting the fingers either. I was holding them into
I have childish taste buds, so I
Same.
don't like it.
You also have autism, so anyway, moving on. You know what?
Last question.
I'm just gonna butcher Kieran's art because.
Spelt key.
All right, there you go.
I'm not going to try.
Here's a question: what are the other lads' thoughts on Shane, vice captain, and Che Adams, and being 87th in his FPL league? Josh.
That's funny, isn't it?
It's quite funny.
I think I'm quite high in that league. I think for me anyway.
Does Che Adams even have more fantasy points than Danny Ings?
No, he does not.
Fucking hell.
No, my logic behind I got Che Adams for game week 6 because he had put up 2.5 expected goals without registering.
No.
And not that I believe in somebody being due, but he was getting good chances in every game, including against Liverpool. So I was like, well, if he keeps doing this, he's going to fucking score. And I got him in, and he didn't score, believe it or not, but he did win a penalty, and I had him as vice captain, so I got double points for that, and he was one of my highest scoring players because I'm absolute fucking jobber when it comes to fantasy this season.
What about Danny Ings?
I've sold my soul there. I used wildcard this week. I've had to get rid of my smash hit Ashley Barnes, and I've chilled out and I just have a team full of corporate Man City slugs.
Nice. Hold on.
Thank you.
Well, okay. There we go. I'm just one of those people that kind of, made a fantasy team and then didn't join any leagues.
And you won't check
it.
Won't check it again until May.
You should do draft leagues.
Check it again until May.
You follow NFL, Dave. Did you ever do the NFL fan?
I did until this year. I haven't done one this year.
But because they do it on Fantasy Premier League now, where you can do drafts, and they're actually the drafts are so much fun.
Oh yeah, getting a big Skype call together and doing the draft. It's great.
We just had like the one I'm in with friends. We just had a group chat, but like just like you're waiting for your pick and someone steals one right before you or something, and then like you have the free agents as well, or lads come back from injury, so you're like trying to time when to get there. That's a lot more fun. Whereas normal fantasy is just like, even if you do like the head-to-head leagues, you're like, oh cool, we have 7 of the same players. It's like, I don't know, it's a bit shite, but something to do when there's nothing to do.
Yeah, well,
Like listening to this podcast.
Well, on that bombshell, I've got to go.
No, don't use that as a sign off. No,
Well-
sorry, that's not allowed.
Josh,
That's
come on,
not
I'm going to
allowed.
corporate. I'm slowly but surely turning blue. I'm
You're
turning to
going
Jeremy Clarkson.
Sorry, Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm
Let's
going to my
just-
new local, which is appropriately called the Wool Shed.
Next year, you'll be. Next year, Dave, on results day, you'll be tweeting
I'm
about
going
how
to the Woolshed. It's
you
called
got-
Anfield. Zing. But yeah,
Jesus.
I've got a hashtag with the game in about 45 minutes, so I have to get
Yeah,
dressed
and we
stuff.
there's 50-50 and we'll have an episode next week because it's going to be fucking international week. We'll maybe that's when the people will need us more than ever.
Do you mean
But,
50-50 we'll have a game to review and nothing to preview? Of course they'll listen.
2 games to review.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Yeah,
some
50
and some
50 plus
riveting
50 is
international
100%
action to
chance.
review, so yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back next week.
Yeah. And Shane's hosting.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah, jeez.
Consider me unavailable.
Hang on to your hats, boys.
There we go. Happy days, right? On that bombshell.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye all.
Slán.